Sup, guys? It's Toad back with you. This is Better Off Dead, Wednesday, June 18th. Sorry for that false start there. I was trying to stream to my Twitter as well, which I have not done with this show yet. And of course, the only time I try it completely fucks up, so whatever. You know what didn't fuck up, though, is the plays on the show yesterday. 2-0 with the unders on Kansas City, Texas, and Cleveland, San Francisco. Both started off a little dicey, not going to lie. I think one of the teams, I don't even remember if it was Kansas City or Texas, whichever team won the game, one of them had like 5 runs like pretty early on in the game. I think it was Kansas City, whichever team won the game. And then after the 6th inning, no more runs came home. So we got that one through with the bullpens. I mean, the bullpens were part of the handicap, part of the equation. The bad offenses were also part of it. Cleveland, San Francisco was like a 2-1 game in the 3rd inning. I'm like, yeah, that's not great, but let's hang on here. And then that had very few runs scored later in the game as well with a 3-2 final, I think. So both those games came through. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers, and USA continues to dominate the NHL. I won I got them right in my bracket. I don't know what percentile I wound up in on ESPN because I did not have their opponent right, but I did have Florida winning my bracket. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy for Brad Marchand getting a cup there, although I wish it was with the fucking Bruins. But like seeing the Oilers fail, I mentioned Florida was a lean that I had yesterday, and that one didn't give it out as a play, but that got there as well. Florida was the better team in the series, and I didn't even realize they mentioned it during the broadcast last night. Florida set a Stanley Cup Finals record for having the lead for the highest percentage of minutes in the series. So they led for a higher percentage of time in that series than any finals team has, which is crazy. Crazy to think about, because actually the Bruins in 2011 actually led for a lot of that series. Because I remember all the games that the Bruins won against the Canucks were like blowout wins, and all the games that they lost were like one goal losses. So the Bruins probably up there as far as that's concerned. But Florida obviously got it done. Edmonton couldn't resolve their goaltending issues. I think they had Skinner back in last night. Didn't work out. They lost. Bobrovsky outplayed him, man. Florida was the better team. Congratulations to them. I will talk about NBA, although we don't have the game until tomorrow, but it's going to be interesting because Halliburton is a game-time decision, so I'll talk about it more on tomorrow's show. I guess, but I don't know, because I'll actually probably go live tonight to talk about tomorrow's stuff because I'm going to be in Florida. So I'm going to be doing short videos on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll do from Top Lobster's yard. I'll do the quick walking bets just to give out the bets that I have, and won't do full analysis those days, but I'll try to do tomorrow's card tonight, which will include that NBA game. But right now I expect Halliburton to play. We've seen money come in on OKC, and I think historically that does make sense. And I think in like throughout history, I think teams that are in OKC's position, once they go up 3-2, they actually tend to win Game 6. So I do think they're probably going to win it. But the money has jacked the line up just like in Game 4. It's all the way up to 6 again. So, and of course, it was 6 in Game 4 with Halliburton playing. So that line tells me that Halliburton probably is playing, although right now he's a game-time decision with, I don't even know what it is, like some leg muscle strain. I don't even know. I'd have to look up what the hell it is. Don't know what it is, but that was contributing to the fact that he had 0 points in 30 minutes in the prior game there, which I forgot to mention on the show. Halliburton had a terrible game. But because he had 0 points in that game, and he looked so bad, and because he's injured, now if he plays, you're going to get a reduced line on his point total. So if you like props, I would go over Halliburton's point total in Game 6 because you're probably going to get like a really low line on it. So I think there probably is some value there, even though I expect OKC to get it done and win the game there. And hopefully, I got to cash my series bet, man, on Oklahoma City. So hopefully it happens. But if you like the Oklahoma City side, the number's going up a little bit. But I don't know that you need to lay it yet. Well, actually, you probably, well, I don't know. Because if I think Halliburton is going to play, and if it's announced that he is going to play, the line might actually tick down again, just a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. But right now, it seems like he is expected to play. Andrew, what's up, man? Bro Toad. Is that what we're going to call it now? Grow Toad? Grow Tove? I don't know. Yeah. It should be fun. Hopefully, it'll be fun. I will be down there. I'll be at the at the event. I'll be on stage probably for some of it, and yeah, hopefully it goes well. I think it'll be fun. It'll be good to meet these guys, man, and to potentially see Owen Benjamin's last live show. That's going to be sick. I've never seen him live. I've never met him, so that'll be awesome. In person, I mean. So it's going to be, him, Jake Shields, Shane Cashman, Sam Tripoli. I've never met any of those guys in person. Like, I've talked to Owen, Sam on Tower Gang when they were on, but yeah, get your Bro Grove tickets, man. So I'll plug it briefly again at the end of the show, but let's do it, man. Let's talk about today's card. It's mostly baseball, of course. We do have one WNBA game, which is kind of interesting because Connecticut is playing. They're hosting Phoenix, and if you were paying attention, Connecticut played last night against Indiana, and Indiana obviously won the game by double digits because they're the better team, although I actually think Connecticut covered the number because it was like a 17, 18-point spread, but all hell broke loose in that game. Caitlin Clark had a really good game for Indiana, and Connecticut was just beating her up, man. Surprisingly, it was actually the white women on Connecticut's team that were beating her up. It was, I forget what their names are. Let me see. I could bring it up, actually. There were just a couple of women. Indiana actually won by exactly 17, so they missed the cover by like a half point. But Indiana dominated the game, but there was a point where, what the hell were their names here? I think it was J.C. Sheldon poked Caitlin Clark in the eye when Clark had the ball, which can't do them. I'm assuming they called a foul at least or something. I don't know. I think she did it intentionally. It was a cheap shot, and then Caitlin Clark took exception to it. All the women kind of started going after each other, and then I think it was Marina Mabry came from out of nowhere and just shoved Caitlin Clark to the ground, which that's got to be like a flagrant foul or something. Probably she should be like penalized in some way. I don't know if she got thrown out of the game. I don't know what it was. She should probably have been thrown out, maybe suspended. It was totally uncalled for, ridiculous. And then Sophie Cunningham, based, came to Caitlin Clark's aid later in the game, and I think there was another kind of scrum that was about to start, and Sophie Cunningham went after J.C. Sheldon. I think it kind of grabbed her from behind. It almost looked like a UFC move. Like, she almost got her like in a headlock, and I'm like, I think it was justified. Dude, this Connecticut team, they're the worst team in the WNBA, so I don't know what gives them the the gumption, I guess, or the lady balls, the ovaries to do that, like to play like that against a team that's obviously way better than they are. It's insane. Like how do you get like this ego on you, or you're gonna just start going after these players? Dude, Caitlin Clark, she's having it rough, man. Like, these other players, they, I think it's basically just out of jealousy because she is actually legitimately good. And these other players that are not as good as her, yeah, all they can do is just do that. But anyway, Connecticut's coming off of that. So they're on a back-to-back, which is rare in the WNBA. There are almost never any back-to-backs. They're actually traveling back home from that physical, ridiculous game. So it's a terrible spot for Connecticut. Phoenix is coming in off of not an upset. I guess they were actually favored at Vegas because Vegas was without Asia Wilson in this game, who is their best player. Mercury coming off that win. Still a big win, though, when you win at Vegas, who's been a pretty good team in this league for a while now. So Phoenix is coming off of that. Maybe a little bit of a letdown spot for Phoenix, but it is a terrible spot for Connecticut coming off of last night's game. Phoenix, do you really want to lay a price like this on the road with Phoenix? I don't think you do, but they're up from 13.5 to 14.5 now, so something has pushed that line up. I don't want any part of Connecticut, though, coming off of that game yesterday, so we'll stay away. This is going to be a boring show, by the way, again, like I said yesterday, but I gave out 2 winners yesterday. I have 1 play today, and I know a lot of times I say that, and I wind up like wanting to play something additional when I like start breaking it down again, because I've already broken down all these games, but as I like do it again on the show, I'm like, wait a minute, that actually, I'm convincing myself, but a lot of times those plays haven't worked out, so I got to stop myself. I do have 1 play as it stands right now, and it is very boring. It's an under play, and it's a first 5 inning under, but let's break it down, man. We have Red Sox at Seattle. Seattle bounced back with an 8-0 win yesterday. Walker Buehler sucks. Raleigh hit a grand slam. Buehler had a terrible game. I mean, he's just awful. Brian Wu pitched very well, 7 inning, 1 hit. So the Red Sox actually used more of their bullpen as well. So it's not a great situation for the Red Sox to be in here, although they do have Garrett Crochet pitching. So I do expect him to do well. I mean, he's having a great season. 2.24 ERA, 1.03 whip. Splits are very insignificant. He's good regardless of where he pitches. He's coming off back-to-back games against the Yankees where he pitched actually pretty well in both. He had a 16-2 strikeout walk ratio combined in the two. Even though he wound up allowing 5 runs in the first one, it was a little bit misleading because he obviously did have his command based on all the other numbers in that start. So he's actually now stepping down in class to face Seattle here, who is obviously a weaker offense than the Yankees. His numbers against Seattle are good, not great. In 47 at-bats, he's held him to 234 average, which is pretty good. But because he's allowed 2 home runs and 8 walks, it's a 771 OPS, which is a bit high. Arozarena is 3 for 4 in the home run, so maybe some player prop ideas there. But overall, I expect Crochet to do pretty well here. He did actually face Seattle earlier this year, though, in April. Didn't do that well. He actually walked 5 guys in that start. That was at Fenway. But I kind of expect him to do better in this game, even though that wasn't a good start against Seattle, because overall his numbers are still pretty good, even though Seattle has now seen him this year. So maybe a little bit of an edge to Seattle's offense for that reason. But Crochet, he's one of those guys that's just, at that elite level where you kind of have to expect him to do well basically anytime he's out on the mound pretty much. So I expect him to have a good start in this one. I don't like the Boston bullpen coming into this one, though. They have the weaker of the 2 bullpens, and the rest situation not good. Luis Castillo in Seattle's not a bad starter, though. 3.29 ERA, 1.27 whip. Whip is a little bit high. He's been better at home, though. 2.35 ERA at home. Pitching pretty well this month so far with a 17-5 strikeout walk ratio. Going at least 5 innings in all 3 outings. His team won 2 of the outings behind him. Yeah, he's been good, although he's allowed too many home runs, but maybe back at home that won't be as much of a problem, even though he did allow 2 home runs to Cleveland last time he was in this ballpark, but those were the only runs he allowed. So he is still pitching pretty well right now, and his numbers against the Red Sox are good. In 31 at-bats, they have 4 hits off him, 2 extra base hits, which are both home runs, actually, from Duran and Toro, but 13-2 strikeout walk ratio, 129 average, 504 OPS. So Castillo does have good numbers against the Red Sox as well. So I think the way that you got to look at this is an under, but it is a really, really low total. We have 83% of tickets and 99% of the cash on the under, but the total's already down from 7 to 6.5 with some juice on the over here. So if you can get 7 still, obviously if you want the under, 7 is the key number. I mean, you have to go under the 7. Really, I will almost never go under 6.5 just because there's like no room for error there. 7, very key number in baseball because that's the run that you need to break a 3-3 tie. I do expect it to be a low-scoring game, though. It's a pitcher-friendly park, good pitching matchup. The odds makers have it set as if it's going to be a low-scoring game as well. But I don't love the bullpen situation either, so I would probably be looking like under in the first 5 innings and just go with the starting pitchers there. But you'd have to go under probably a really low number of like 3, maybe 3.5. So do it at your own risk, I would say, but that is probably the lean in this game. And even though the Red Sox have dropped from -125 to -118, I mean, I think you're paying a little bit too much of a price for Crochet. So personally, I actually think there's a little bit of value in taking Seattle because I think Castillo does have the ability to keep the game close and duel Crochet. And then if it's a close game later in the game, I don't love the Red Sox as much at that point. But the Red Sox do have 92% of the cash on them, 58% of the tickets are on Seattle. So Seattle's actually getting the public action in this one, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. You'd think that the Red Sox, with their name, with Garrett Crochet on the mound, would be the public side. So maybe those percentages are just not accurate. I mean, pregame is a free tool, but usually I find it pretty helpful. Philadelphia at Miami. Miami won, actually, yesterday, 8-3, but Miami burned a lot of their bullpen yesterday on that nice bounce-back win for Miami. Luzardo had another pretty shaky start. Miami's bullpen is in a bad position here, though. Even though Philadelphia is not a good bullpen, Miami also is not. Probably even worse, actually, than Philadelphia's. And Miami, yeah, I mean, their bullpen is absolutely used up right now. We do have Philadelphia with Ranier Suarez on the mound here. He's having a good season, 2.32 ERA, 1.07 whip. Had a delayed start to the season. I still don't think he's quite as good as he looks, but there's nothing to really complain about his numbers here so far, and he's really good on the road so far with a .87 ERA. He's facing a bad offense here, and he's been in good form in the month of June here. I think I said May accidentally a little while ago, June. 13-2 strikeout walk ratio, though his strikeout rate's not that high. In 20 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts. Not that impressive, but a very low walk number, low hit number. Hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of the starts. He's gone at least 6 innings every start since his first start where he got rocked. Since then, he's been good pretty much every outing, every outing, and he's had 4 shutouts. He's faced a lot of weak offenses so far for the most part, but this is another weak offense. So I think he should probably do well in this one. His numbers against Miami are good in 35 at-bats, 9-1 strikeout walk ratios, held him to a 229 average, 564 OPS. So Suarez does look like this game sets up pretty well for him. He's up against Adam Mazur, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Very young pitcher. He hasn't pitched since last year when he was on San Diego, and he had 8 starts. And his numbers were very bad last year. 7.49 ERA, 1.81 whip. He had a 22-21 strikeout walk ratio in 33 2/3 and gave up 40 hits. There's nothing to like about any of those numbers. Not a high strikeout rate, way too high of a walk rate, way too high of a hit rate as well. I mean, he did not have a good season, and he was pitching in a pitcher-friendly park too, so that doesn't look good to me. I didn't dig into his minor league numbers, although I did dig into the minor league numbers of a couple of the other pitchers that are starting today, because I figured I was not going to have any part of this game anyway, so I just didn't even dig that deep. But I would not trust Mazur here, or Mazur, however you want to pronounce his name. I don't know that Philadelphia has even ever seen him before. Let me see. Maybe they have. No, they have never faced him before, so I guess he has that edge and that he's a young guy who, I don't know what his stuff is like. Didn't look at his scouting report. I just decided pass on this game. Maybe he has a little bit of an edge just because Philly hasn't seen him before. I think Philly obviously has the edge here, though. I think they obviously have the huge offensive edge, but I think they have the starting pitching edge and the bullpen edge here as well. But they've gone down from minus 190 to minus 158 here, so that's quite a drop in the line there. And I wonder if Miami had a different starter listed and then switched to Mazur, and then that caused the number to drop, which maybe means that Mazur is actually getting some respect from the public, or excuse me, from the professional bettors, Public's not going to give him any respect. But based on his numbers last year, I don't think we could trust him at all. So that's going to be a complete stay away. The total has gone up a bit from 7.5 to 8 with juice on the over. I don't know about the over either because Mazur is a total wild card, and Suarez looks like he should match up pretty well. So that game's definitely a stay away. Don't even really have a big lean in that game, although Philadelphia does have all the advantages in that game. So maybe Miami under their team total would be the way to look, because I think it sets up pretty nicely for Suarez, and he's the more predictable part of that. So Miami not scoring a lot might be the way to look at that game. Pittsburgh is at Detroit, and it is Skubal Day. Tariq Skubal is pitching today. Detroit got the win yesterday. They're very good at home, of course. They won 7-3. I thought maybe Detroit wouldn't do that well yesterday because I'm not a huge fan of Mize, as you guys know, but they're definitely a good team at home. They got the job done. Not a whole lot of relief pitchers used yesterday, so Detroit should have the upper hand in the bullpen today as well, and probably won't have to use their bullpen that much because Skubal is probably going to go deep, as he almost always does. So it should be a pretty good game for Skubal here. He's up against Andrew Heaney, who hasn't really been that bad either. 3.33 ERA, 1.11 whip. He's been a little bit worse on the road, 3.72 ERA, which is still not bad. He's pitched well this month. He actually hasn't walked anybody in 3 starts this month, facing San Diego, Philadelphia, and Chicago Cubs, and those are not the easiest offenses to face. He didn't allow more than 3 earned runs in any of those starts, went at least 5 2/3 in all of them, 15-0 strikeout walk ratio. So Heaney is definitely in good form right now. Up against Detroit, he actually has decent numbers as well. Well, kind of. I mean, it's a little bit of a mixed bag, I guess. In 22 at-bats, he's selling to a 227 average, but they have an 883 OPS because they have a couple of home runs against him from Rogers and Torres. But Torres is only 3 for 14 off him, so it seems like a little bit more of an outlier, that home run there. So I do think Heaney might pitch pretty well. Obviously, Skubal to pitch well is going to happen almost every time he's out there. 1.99 ERA, 0.81 whip. I think he's like the massive favorite to win the AL Cy Young right now, and for good reason. I mean, he's absolutely dominant. He's been good this month, too, with a 12-2 strikeout walk ratio and 2 starts, going 14 2/3 innings, only allowing 1 earned run over that span. He's allowed 0 in 3 of the last 4 outings, including a complete game against Cleveland. I mean, he's in dominant fashion, doesn't show any signs of slipping out of it, has a 1.72 ERA at home. Just unbelievable stats from him. And, of course, his numbers are very good against Pittsburgh as well. In 32 at-bats, 0 extra base hits against them, 9-2 strikeout walk ratio, 188 average, and 423 OPS. So, I mean, you're not going to get value on Skubal anymore. I mean, there's a huge line here up from -280 to -291. I mean, if you wanted to look to Detroit run line or something like that, try to knock that price down, go ahead, I guess, but probably the safer way is to go Pittsburgh under their team total and expect Skubal to completely hold them down. That would probably be the better way to look, although you probably have to go under like 2, maybe 2.5 runs in this game. Very little room for error there, but I think Skubal plus the relievers that Detroit has available could potentially get that done against a pretty weak offense. Obviously, the odds makers are telling you it's a low-scoring game here. Totals flip from 7 juice to the over to 7 juice to the under. I think the under is the way to look in this game. I don't know if you could trust Pittsburgh's bullpen, but they did save their better relievers because they used Modzinski out of the bullpen yesterday to eat up some of the innings there. So the bullpen situation is actually pretty good for both staffs here, and Detroit does have a good bullpen. So you could go under full game. You could go under first 5. But just like I said with that other game, it's getting to that threshold where you might have to pass on the game. I mean, I'm not going to recommend a play on it, but at 6.5 full game, I don't love the idea of going under on that. And at 3.5 in the first 5 innings, I don't quite love it either. It sketches me out a little bit, and I tend to stay away a little bit, or probably 3, maybe even in the first 5 innings. But that's still probably the way I would lean, is an under in some way in this game. JC, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. Yes, sir. I don't know if you're going to be there or not. I don't know who you are. I think you're probably 100 different accounts, though, because you're in here on every single show. But, yeah, I mean, under full game or first 5 innings or Pittsburgh under their team total are all options in that Pittsburgh-Detroit game. But they're all a little bit dicey, in my opinion. Colorado at Washington. Colorado won again yesterday. They won 3 games in a row. They won 10-6 yesterday. I don't know what happened in that game yesterday. And even more shocking is that Senzatella didn't allow any runs in this game. I mean, that is almost impossible, but that's what happened. He also had no strikeouts. Just a bizarre game. And then the Rockies bullpen didn't do well, which, I mean, you could expect that. I mean, that was the least shocking part about this whole thing. Rockies have taken 2 games in a row from a really struggling Washington team. It's lost a bunch of games in a row. Washington doing terribly right now, but you got to think Washington's got to be pissed right now. Like, they do not want to get swept at home like Miami did against Colorado, man. I mean, this is ridiculous. So Washington, you're going to have to expect focus out of Washington here, but we're looking at 2 really bad bullpens here. So both bullpens not good. So you want to try to factor that into the handicap. If you're going over, then you can keep the bullpens in that, obviously. But if you're doing anything else, basically, you want to try to exclude the bullpens, in my opinion. Well, maybe with the side, you could leave it in, but it's still a little bit dicey. German Marquez is pitching for Colorado. He hasn't been good. 6.62 ERA, 1.66 whip. He has a worse ERA on the road. He's one of the Colorado pitchers who actually pitches better at Coors, or is this year at least. I don't know how that's the case, but that is the case. He's allowed more home runs on the road, too, but he's pitched more innings on the road. 7.91 road ERA. He's been bad on the road. He is coming off a nice start, though, against Atlanta on the road with a 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, only allowed 1 run in 5 innings. He has gone at least 5 innings in 5 straight starts and actually hasn't allowed more than 4 runs in any of them. So he actually is pitching okay right now. This month has a 16-3 strikeout walk ratio, though he's allowed too many hits. But he's actually not pitching at his worst right now. So I don't know that I necessarily want to fade Marquez. His numbers against Washington are mediocre. Only 5 of their guys have ever faced him before. Ruiz has done well against him, 5 for 8 with 2 walks, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. Overall, 54 at-bats between 5 Washington hitters. They have a 259 average off him, but an 870 OPS because of the 5 walks, 4 doubles, triple, and 3 home runs in there. as Bell has 2 home runs, but he's only 3 for 26 off of him. So kind of a mixed bag for Marquez. A little bit difficult to handicap him. Mitchell Parker is pitching for Washington. He has not been pitching well recently. 4.84 ERA, 1.35 whip. He's been a little bit better at home with a 4.09 ERA, so that's a little bit of a better sign for him, but he also has not been good recently, really. This month, 10-5 strikeout walk ratio, 5.65 ERA. A lot of that because he did really bad last time out with 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed, only lasted 3 1/3. The real damning part of that, though, was that it was against Miami, who can't hit, and they rocked him. So I think I gave out the under in that game. I was actually shocked at how bad the pitching was early on in that game. I thought both starters set up nicely, both offenses struggling. I couldn't believe that outcome there. So I don't trust Parker right now. Washington's lost his last 4 starts. Not a good sign for Parker. Up against Colorado, he does have good numbers. I mean, this is a bad offense, typically. Even though they've put in 3 straight pretty good offensive performances, they've typically been really bad, especially on the road. But in 32 at-bats, Parker has an 8-1 strikeout walk ratio against him, a 219 average, allowed him 524 OPS. So those numbers are good. So this is a very difficult game to handicap. I mean, you have good matchup numbers for Mitchell Parker, but his recent form is awful, and Marquez actually is in the better recent form. And the market read is on Colorado, as Washington's down from -175 to -150 here on the money line. 69% of tickets on Washington, but 56% of the cash coming in on the Colorado side. It makes no sense, man. So, the money coming in on Colorado, I guess just figuring that because Washington's been playing so bad, it's kind of a, let's jump in on that streak because baseball is so streaky. I guess just keep playing that streak where Colorado's on a win streak, Washington's on an abysmal loss streak right now. So I think that's part of it. Plus Parker, bad recent form. Marquez, actually pitching a little bit better, although I hesitate because he has the worst matchup numbers and he is pretty bad on the road. So I don't really like any of that. I mean, I could see this game certainly going over. I mean, you have 2 pitchers that are not trustworthy, 2 bullpens that are quite bad. But the total's actually dropped a little bit from 9.5 to 9. No percentages that I see yet, but I think over might be a better way to look in that game than anything else. But I will stay away. Oh, that sucks, JC. Nobody knows who you are, though. I don't know if you reveal yourself at any of these live situations or if you go to any of them. Anaheim at the Yankees. Yankees have actually failed to score a single run in 3 straight games, which is almost impossible. Yankees also, I believe, happen to be the 2nd highest scoring team in baseball. They're one of the top 3, at least. It's them, the Cubs, and the Dodgers, I think, all near the top in runs scored per game. Yet the Yankees have scored 0 in 3 straight games, including both games in this series. But you got to think that it's going to turn around at some point. They didn't do well against Hendricks yesterday, but I did point out he had good numbers against the Yankees, although I am actually surprised that both pitchers did that well in the game yesterday. They both racked up a lot of strikeouts. Both bullpens actually got a little bit of rest yesterday, but of course Anaheim's bullpen is terrible. Yankees' bullpen is pretty decent, but factor all that in, starting pitching in this game looks pretty bad to me, to be honest. Kohanowitz is pitching for the Angels, excuse me. I mean, he's not doing well. Let's say 5.53 ERA, 1.59 WHIP is terrible, sky high. He's been worse on the road too, with a 5.85 road ERA. Now he's having to pitch against the Yankees in the Bronx, and the Yankees just saw him at the end of May. He actually had a decent start in that one, went 6 2/3 in Anaheim, gave up 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. I mean, that's about as good as you're going to get from Kohanowitz, especially against a good lineup like this. But I think because the Yankees just saw him, they're probably more likely to get to him this time out because he is not pitching well. Since that outing, he hasn't gone more than 4 1/3 in any of his starts. He has a 10-4 strikeout walk ratio, which is not great. 7.94 ERA, all in the month of June. Not facing great offenses either. Cleveland, Seattle, Baltimore. But it's almost like he actually steps it up a little bit against some of the better offenses. I don't know, man, but I do expect the Yankees to get to him here. His numbers against the Yankees are good, though. In 23 at-bats, this is mostly that other outing that he had this year. 217 average, allowed 541 OPS. So there are some reasons to maybe not fade Kohanowitz, but I would say that because he's just been pretty much bad all year and the Yankees just saw him, I think the Yankees are going to do better hitting him this time out. And the Yankees at some point, I mean, this is not going to continue, their streak of not scoring at all. But the Yankees have Ryan Yarbrough pitching. I don't trust him either. 3.96 ERA, 1.18 WHIP are good numbers, but he's not doing well. Although, granted, his two bad starts here were both against the Yankees, both against the Red Sox. But still, I mean, I don't think he's that good. He has a 6.14 ERA this month, 11-5 strikeout walk ratio. Not that great, although, again, basically every team that's not the Red Sox has struggled to hit him. So he has been good in that regard. He's been way worse in this stadium, though, at home, with a 7.27 ERA. Again, a lot of that was getting rocked by the Red Sox, but still, he hasn't really been good at home. I don't think he's that good a pitcher in general. If you just look at his career stats, they're not really that good. Against Anaheim, his numbers are okay. In 64 at-bats, he's held to a pretty low 234 average. 16-3 strikeout walk ratio is good, but he has allowed 3 home runs to them. They have a 722 OPS off him. Trout, 3 for 7 with a home run and a walk. Pretty good there. Really, none of the other individual batters have great numbers off him. The Ward is 4 for 10 with a double. So those two guys, maybe some player prop potential with like Trout there. But I just don't like either of these pitchers, man. I don't trust them. Yarbrough, I think, did actually face Anaheim as well. Let me see. Yeah, he did, and he pitched well. He went 6 innings on the road against Anaheim, 2 hits allowed, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. Gave up 1 run on a solo home run. But, I mean, neither of these pitchers is trustworthy, man. So I think I would look to the over in this game, and you at least get one really bad bullpen for Anaheim here as well. So an over makes sense to me. The total's gone up from 9 to 9.5 with juice. So I think probably that's the way I would look in this game. The odds makers are telling you they expect it to be a high-scoring game. I don't disagree with that, and especially because both offenses did just see both of these pitchers. So the over does make sense to me. I just worry a little bit about the matchup stats there being pretty good on both sides of the starting pitching matchup. And there is at least rest in the bullpens, but both starting pitchers are also in pretty bad form over the last couple of starts. Yarbrough, the Yankees are down from minus 230, minus 211, by the way. So some money's coming in fading the Yankees as well at that price. Again, you're never really going to find value in playing the Yankees. Again, I'm going to stay away, though. I know I'm a pussy, right? You got to pick your spots, man. You got to be very selective sometimes. Arizona at Toronto. Actually surprised Toronto got the win yesterday because they were returning home from a pretty long road trip. I thought it was a bad spot for them. Toronto won in the 9th inning, I believe, on back-to-back home runs, if I'm not mistaken, from Guerrero and Bichette. Is that right? Let me see. Bichette and Barger, sorry. So Barger. I apologize to Tall Bill from New Hampshire because that's his name and I never know how to pronounce it. Barger, I think. I don't know. You don't operate a barge, right? A garbage barge. Anyway, those two guys hit home runs, back-to-back home runs in the 9th inning. Dramatic win for the Blue Jays yesterday. Arizona used more of their bullpen than the Blue Jays did, and they have a worse bullpen. So Arizona's bullpen, definitely something that you want to factor into this handicap, is being terrible for the most part. They do have Erod pitching today, Eduardo Rodriguez, and his season numbers are really bad. 6.27 ERA, 1.59 WHIP. On the road, he's actually been worse, 6.91 ERA. But he actually has had a couple of good starts in a row this month, including one at Great American Ballpark, which at least tells you something. I mean, even though Cincinnati's offense isn't great, and then he faced Seattle, which they're like a mediocre offense, but he had 2 good outings, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, only allowed 2 earned runs in each, went at least 5 innings in each. So Rodriguez actually seems to be coming into form a little bit, at least. He's had a couple of good starts in a row. He's facing Toronto, who has a decent offense that has started to heat up, but his numbers are fairly good against Toronto, too, in 56 at-bats, 232 average, 621 OPS, too many walks, 7 walks, compared to 14 strikeouts. Both those numbers are actually pretty high. But that is kind of Rodriguez's game. He's a little bit wild and hard throwing. He usually strikes out guys and walks a lot of guys. So we'll see what happens in this game. Vlad Guerrero Jr., 5 for 15, off with 3 walks. No extra base hits, though. So I don't know if that's a player prop potential there for you or not. But Rodriguez is in good form and has decent numbers against Toronto. And Toronto's going with another bullpen game, it looks like, here with Eric Lauer on the mound. 2.37 ERA. Well, they didn't go with the bullpen game yesterday. The Bassett pitch. But to me, it seems like Toronto's going with numerous bullpen games out there. Lauer has a 2.37 ERA, 0.92 whip, so good numbers. His splits are pretty insignificant. He's basically the same, both home and away. But you know you're not going to get that many innings out of him. Probably about max 4 innings out of him in this game. He'll be an opener. He'll give you 3-4 innings most likely. Although he's been okay in that role. He's been pitching fairly well in this role. So he may do well again here. He's up against a really good offense this time, though, in Arizona. So we'll see. But he did pitch 4 shutout innings against a similar caliber offense in Philadelphia at home here. So he did do well in that start. So he may do well again here. His numbers are kind of all over the place, to be honest, against Arizona. In 48 at-bats, 229 average is good, but a 790 OPS is a bit high because he's allowed 11 walks compared to 12 strikeouts, although granted 7 of them are Suarez. So maybe there's not a whole lot to really gather from looking at that. Marte does hit him well if you want player props. 7 for 17 with 2 home runs allowed, or with 2 home runs hit, for Marte. But Lauer's not going to be in the game for that long either, so take that into account. What do I want to do with that game? I would probably slightly lean to Arizona, man, because you don't know what you're going to get with Toronto, even though their bullpen is pretty good. They used a little bit of their bullpen yesterday. The money looks like it is coming in, agreeing with me, fading Toronto. Toronto down from -110 to -105. They have 80-something% of the tickets. Sorry, I keep clicking on this by accident, man. When I'm trying to just, I have a habit of like clicking right on like where I'm at, just so I can see it myself. That's just what I do. I go, I'm going to highlight this just because this is what I'm talking about, so I can see it. Let me see. Yeah, so Toronto's down from -110 to -105. 83% of tickets, only 68% of the cash. So Toronto is public. Public doesn't like Arizona's recent form. I guess Toronto's been the hotter team recently, but it does look like the money is coming in and fading Toronto there, and I somewhat agree with that based on Rodriguez being in decent current form, having decent matchup numbers, and Lauer probably not going to go that deep into the game. So Toronto's bullpen is probably going to be the first one out onto the hill there. So take all that into account. But Arizona, their bullpen is bad, so I could see a first 5 inning play might make sense for Arizona as well there. If you want to grab first 5 innings, they're probably still an underdog in the first 5. Maybe not quite as big of an underdog, though. Maybe they're not even an underdog, actually, because the number is pretty close to being even on both sides. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's still probably going to be a short price on Arizona. Minnesota at Cincinnati. Cincinnati won yesterday 6-5. Cincinnati's defense was a huge problem in yesterday's games. Abbott didn't really do that poorly, but he couldn't get out. Like, he couldn't finish these innings because his defense sucked. He gave up 1 earned run and I think 5 unearned runs. Just very bad defense from the Reds. Festa was very bad, though, for the Twins yesterday, and really didn't pitch deep into the game at all. And the Twins had to roll out a lot of their bullpens. Even though the Reds did use some of their best relievers, the Twins used even more of their bullpen. Bailey Ober is pitching for Minnesota, and unfortunately, because I like him, and I think he's a pretty good pitcher, this season, mixed bag, man. He had a rough start to the season, pitched well for a while, and now he's kind of in bad form again. 4.40 ERA, 1.38 whip, not good. I mean, that whip is pretty bad. At 1.3, he's been a little bit worse on the road. 4.65 ERA. He's just not in good form right now, though. I didn't even make it 5 innings last time out of one of those games where Texas scored 16 runs. Ober gave up 4 home runs in that game, 6 walks, 7 earned runs, 6 hits. Very, very bad outing. He's just not in good form, man. 9.26 ERA in 2 starts this month. He did go 7 innings in the other start, but gave up 5 runs in that game, too. He's allowed 6 home runs in the last 11 2/3. Not good when you're going to a ballpark that allows a lot of home runs in Cincinnati, so it doesn't look good for Ober here. And a 7-7 strikeout walk ratio, too, is terrible. But 6 home runs and 7 strikeouts in a span of 11 and 2/3 innings is ridiculous, man. I don't think I've ever seen a home run rate allowed that's that high. It's insane. But his numbers are actually good against the Reds in 43 at bats. 12-3 strikeout walk ratio, 163 average allowed, 636 OPS. Friedel hits him well, 3 for 6 with the home run, but other than that, not a whole lot going on there. So Ober does actually have good numbers against Cincinnati, so maybe he'll bounce back here, but the form that he's in does not inspire confidence in me. Nick Lodolo is pitching for the Reds. He's having a pretty good season, 3.76 ERA, 1.13 whip. Those are good numbers, but he's been way worse in this ballpark. He has really extreme home road splits, and it's not good at home with a 5.85 home ERA. He's allowed 8 of the 10 home runs that he's allowed at home, so this ballpark has hurt Lodolo. It's a hitter-friendly ballpark. Hasn't been good here. His last time out, he actually allowed 6 earned runs despite being on the road. So he had a bad road start last time out. This month, he has a 10-2 strikeout walk ratio, which is good. He had one good start against a good Arizona lineup. After a good start against a Cubs lineup, it's pretty good the time before that. But then he had a bad start against Cleveland. So Lodolo's very hard to predict, actually, man. It's like he's pitching well against good lineups and poorly against bad lineups. I don't know. And Minnesota, they are not a very good lineup, but they only have 2 hitters who have ever seen him before, but they are 2 for 5 off him with a couple RBIs, a walk, 1 strikeout, a 400 average, 900 OPS. But it does mean that the rest of Minnesota's lineup has never seen Lodolo, so he might have a little bit of an edge against the rest of Minnesota's lineup just because they haven't seen him before. But I don't know if I love that, man. Probably would lean to the over in this game. An over. The total's gone from 8.5 to 9 with juice to the under. Don't see the percentages yet, but that's probably the way I would look there because Lodolo, very bad home road splits. Neither pitcher is in very good form right now, at least based on their last start. So I think an over could happen in this game. The bullpen situation is not terrific for either team either. So I think over is probably the way to look there, although Ober does have good matchup numbers. Lodolo does at least have a situation where Minnesota's hitters haven't really seen him before. So a little bit of hesitation there. Cincinnati's also up from -105 to -123 on the money line. 83% of tickets, 94% of the cash on Cincinnati. So Cincinnati does have the money coming in on them. Mets at Atlanta. Atlanta had a dramatic win last night. I think in extra innings, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, in 10 innings, they won 5-4 on a sacrifice fly at the end of the game. Nice dramatic win for the Braves. Neither team used a lot of their bullpen yesterday. I thought both starters were going to do well, and they did. But it still, if you went with the under, which was kind of my suggestion in this game yesterday, it still didn't happen. Unfortunately, because it went into extra innings and because there were 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. So that was kind of what did it there. As Atlanta was actually losing the game 4-1. So it looked like it was headed towards an under, man, with the bullpens getting the job done late in the game until the last part of the game. So kind of a brutal beat there if you had a full game under in that one. First 5 under, I'm not sure if it got there or not because a lot of the runs were scored earlier in the game. The Mets have the better of the 2 bullpens. Atlanta's bullpen has blown some games recently. But the bullpens are in decent shape here as far as the rest is concerned after yesterday's game. This does look like a huge pitching mismatch in favor of the Braves here, though, with Paul Blackburn pitching for the Mets. He's only made 3 starts for them so far this year, but he's kind of a journeyman pitcher, doesn't really throw at high velocity. He's not that great. 6.75 ERA, 1.71 whip, really bad numbers. Actually has a 3 ERA on the road, though. A lot better than his 108 home ERA. But again, that's what you get with these small sample sizes. He's only pitched 1/3 of an inning at home so far, but that was his most recent outing, and he's actually gotten worse in every outing. His best outing was against the Dodgers, where he shut them out for 5 innings on the road somehow. Then he went to Coors Field, didn't do well at all, despite not allowing any home runs. He allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, not good. And then came home and had a horrible outing against Tampa, giving up 4 earned runs in 1/3 of an inning. Very, very bad outing there. And that was, which game was this? Oh, that was the Taj Bradley game, yeah. Oh, Blackburn actually pitched him relief in that game, excuse me. So Blackburn, he may have only made that 1 start, and then his other appearances were out of the bullpen. But that was still a horrific performance from him. So I don't trust Blackburn here. His numbers against the Braves are bad as well. In 22 at-bats, 318 average allowed, 830 OPS. 2-2 strikeout walk ratio, not good either. So Blackburn, very untrustworthy here. He's up against Chris Sale, who is pitching at an elite level again, with double-digit strikeouts in both starts this month, only allowing 1 run in each, going at least 6 innings in each. A 21-6 strikeout walk ratio, and only 8 hits allowed in 13 innings. Chris Sale is definitely back again, man. Maybe do we sell high on Chris Sale, though? Is it a sale upcoming? I don't know. A 2.79 ERA, 1.21 whip. Obviously, again, he's pitching really well. His splits are very insignificant, almost exactly the same, home and road. However, his numbers are not good against the Mets in 62 at-bats. 19-2 strikeout walk ratio is really good, but he's allowed a 306 average and 838 OPS, although a lot of the damage is Lindor. 14 for 34 with 2 home runs and a walk off him, so some player prop potential there. McNeil's also 3 for 6 with a double and an RBI. So it's mostly those 2 guys, though. So otherwise, Sale is pretty good. So where do we lean in that one? Like, do we think Sale's going to actually not have a good performance this time? I'm not so sure about that, although Atlanta might be a little bit overvalued right now because you have to pay a tax for Chris Sale because everybody knows how good he is. The Mets do still have the better offense here and the better bullpen here, so you do have to take that into account. So maybe the price on Atlanta is a little bit too high. So maybe it is a sales. They're sitting at minus 178 on the money line. 60% of the tickets, 97% of the cash coming in on the Mets. So the cash percentage is on the Mets. The total is actually up from 8 to 8.5. So if you do think that the matchup numbers really mean something, I could see this game going over. And the bullpens got a little bit of extra usage because of the extra inning yesterday, but not that much because both starters went deep into the game. They both went 7 innings, I'm pretty sure, yesterday. So the bullpens are a little bit saved. But I think if this is a close game, later in the game, the advantage starts shifting to the Mets because they have the better bullpen and the better offense. But they have to get through Blackburn first. Blackburn's start maybe very, very shaky and bad here. I think a safer way to play this is maybe to just avoid Sale and actually play Atlanta to go over their team total. Might make sense just because they're facing Blackburn. Maybe even get really, really precise and doing Atlanta over their team total only in the first 5 and expect them to get to Blackburn because they might not score against the Mets bullpen as easily. So those are definitely some options there. I still kind of lean to Chris Sale doing well in this game, though, even though his matchup stats against the Mets aren't that good. It's just against those 2 specific hitters, and Sale has been in excellent form recently, so I'm not ready to say that I would want to fade him right now in his current form. Again, starting pitchers kind of like racehorses, in that when they're in form, you don't really want to go against them. Baltimore at Tampa Bay, this is a very kind of interesting matchup here. Now, Tampa just lost their win streak. They'd won 4 games in a row, and then they lost to Baltimore yesterday, 5-1. Baltimore used a lot of their bullpen in the game, though, and basically used their better relievers to finish the game off. So the bullpen situation is definitely in favor of Tampa here, as they kind of just used not their best relievers yesterday to kind of just finish the game off because they knew they were going to lose. So they used fewer relievers. Tampa Bay has the better bullpen, pretty significantly so. So Tampa definitely has a bullpen edge in this game. The hitting isn't really great on either side. Starting pitching is where it gets kind of interesting, as Trevor Rogers is pitching for Baltimore, and he's a guy who hadn't pitched he started his career in 2020 with Miami. He had 1 good season with Miami in 2021 with a 2.64 ERA and 1.15 whip over the course of an entire season, which looked pretty good. But then as his career started to progress, that started to look like an outlier. So for whatever reason, that was a good sign that he was starting to get better. But then I don't really know if there was an injury involved or what it was, but even the next season after that, he didn't pitch well. And then he didn't do he hardly pitched in the majors in 2023. Maybe that was due to some injury or something. So maybe he got a bit derailed, but we've never seen the 2021 Rodgers again. So I don't know what we're going to get out of him here, man. And he did move over to Baltimore last year, only made 4 starts, and he was not good with them with a 7.11 ERA, 1.84 whip. That was not good. His career number's not good, 4.92 ERA, 1.58 whip. However, he did make one good start, and it was at Fenway Park this year. He went 6 1/3, 5 strikeouts, no walks, and only allowed 2 hits against the Red Sox and shut them out for 6 1/3. So he had an excellent start, not in an easy position at a hitter-friendly ballpark where the Red Sox tend to hit pretty well at home. So Rogers, that is a good sign that Rogers might have something again, but I worry about all of his histories. And then I said, well, what current form is he really in? Let's look at his minor league stats. How has he done in the minors in 2025? The answer to that is not good. In AAA, I believe he had an ERA in the 5s and a whip of like 1.5 something. So that does not inspire much confidence in me, because I was thinking about recommending a play on Baltimore here in this game and saying that Baltimore is a play. I still lean that way in this game, but Rogers, man, I mean, this start in the majors was a good sign against the Red Sox, but because his numbers in AAA are so bad this year, I don't think we could trust him, man, and his career just totally got derailed after that really good 2021, so I don't think we can trust him. Tampa only has 2 hitters who have ever seen him before, but they are 2 for 4 off him, although both hits were Yandy Diaz, so he's the only guy that actually has any hits off him, and he has a walk off him. 500 average, 1350 OPS, so that's all from Diaz. So Walls is 0 for 2, and then everybody else in Tampa's lineup has never even seen him before. So Rogers, if you do like him, the 2 good signs are he did really well against the Red Sox earlier this year. That was back in May sometime. So he hasn't pitched in over a month, though, so that's not a great sign either. Pitched in the majors, I mean, in over a month. Maybe not a great sign. But Tampa's offense isn't that great, and they haven't seen Rogers. So that is at least some advantage that he has here. But I worry again about his AAA stats. Tampa Bay has Taj Bradley on the mound. I'm not a fan. His numbers aren't great this year. 4.35 ERA, 1.28 whip. Those numbers are too high. He's been a little bit worse at home as well with a 4.56 home ERA. Recent form, not great. He's only gone 4 innings in each of his last 2 outings, although he did shut out the Mets for 4 innings. He was extremely inefficient with his pitches, and he walked 4 guys and gave up 4 hits. He actually gave up 5 runs in the game. It's just that none of them were earned, so it wasn't actually a shutout, excuse me. His defense was a problem behind it, but still, he put a lot of guys on base, man, so it wasn't a good start. He gave up 7 runs the outing before that against Miami, who can't even hit. Like, maybe you could give him a pass for not doing well against the Mets, but he went from good form a few starts before that into bad form again the last couple of outings, so I don't think he's in good form right now. I think he is fadeable, and his numbers against the Orioles are actually bad. In 47 at-bats, a 15-2 strikeout walk ratio is good, but he's allowed a 319 average, 964 OPS, 4 home runs to 4 different batters. Henderson, 4 for 12 on the home run. O'Hearn, 4 for 9 with a home run. Rutschman, 3 for 10. Westberg, 2 for 4 with a home run. Urias has a home run as well. So, I mean, take your pick basically with the player props there, although Urias is only 1 for 4 or something. But Taj Bradley has not done well against this Baltimore lineup overall. Lean to Baltimore in this game. I'd probably keep it to the first 5 innings, though, because I do think Tampa has a bullpen advantage here. Tampa's down from minus 130 to minus 113. 82% of tickets, only 79% of the cash. So the market read pretty strong on Baltimore, with Tampa being very public and the line moving against them. So that's reverse line movement, which is usually a pretty decent indicator. So I would lean to Baltimore still. Again, I would keep it to the first 5 innings, though, and only go with this pitching matchup. But Rogers is very much a wild card here. And then the other question is, how well is he going to do in Steinbrenner Field, which is, of course, the Yankees spring training stadium where Tampa is playing this year. So it's very, very much, it's a difficult game to handicap, to be honest. Although Baltimore still almost made my card as far as giving out a play on Baltimore. I almost did it. I was like, man, I kind of want to do it just because sometimes the market read will just push me over the edge, and I'll be like, I like what I see in the market. I like what I'm seeing on the Market Read and Action Network as well. So Baltimore does appear to be the side of the professionals in that game, at least. But again, bullpens worry me. St. Louis at the White Sox. Now, looking at the schedule, the White Sox just returned home and they got blasted by St. Louis 12-2 yesterday, which it's a bad spot. Again, when a bad team, especially returns home from a road trip, a lot of times they don't do as well. And for some reason, they actually didn't start Shane Smith. They started another pitcher, and then Shane Smith followed. I hate when teams do that, man. When a guy who's been like a staple starter for them, and he's really their best starter, for Chicago. They decided to make him a follower. Makes no sense. And I think that threw him off because I think he's used to starting the game. He actually pitched very poorly yesterday. What are you doing to my man Shane Smith, man? Fuck you, White Sox. What are you doing? So now on the surface, it would look like this is a bounce back spot because when teams return home from a road trip and they have a bad game that first time back, they usually do better in the next game. But because Chicago did that yesterday with the follower approach and whatever, they used a lot of their bullpen yesterday, and their bullpen is not good. So I don't like the situation that the White Sox are in, really. And again, you'd have to jump in front of their 6-game loss streak, which may not be the greatest idea either. And you'd have to fade Sonny Gray, which I don't know if I want to do that either. So, yeah, I mean, I'll stay away. Sonny Gray, I mean, fading the White Sox, you're probably paying too much of a price, though, for the Cardinals. But Sonny Gray has been good. 3.84 ERA, 1.18 whip, that's good. But he has extreme home road splits, and he's been a lot worse on the road with a 5.88 road ERA. So he is definitely a more fadeable pitcher on the road. His last outing was on the road at Milwaukee, and he gave up 6 runs. Not good. And unfortunately, that was a game where I went first 5 under, which was a loser, and the full game under still cashed. It was insane. It was Gray against Mizierowski. I almost said Mlozinski. Mizierowski, the young rookie from Milwaukee. So I liked the starting pitching matchup in that game, but Sonny Gray on the road couldn't get it done. But, dude, he'd only allowed 1 run into the bottom of the 5th inning, and then he only recorded 1 more out in the bottom of the 5th, and he allowed 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th and had to exit the game. It was a ridiculous implosion where the under looked like it was easily going to hit at that point. So I don't know. So was that really a bad start? I don't know, man. I mean, he does have a 9-1 strikeout walk ratio this month. Had a shutout in the other game against a really good Dodgers lineup, although that was at home. His road starts basically have been bad against good offenses, though, and the White Sox are not a good offense. So Gray, bad road starts against Milwaukee and Philadelphia. They shelled him. But against the Mets, he actually had an okay one. Against Pittsburgh, he was decent. And against, what was the other one? Texas, he had a good road start. So he actually has been better on the road against worse offenses. Against the White Sox in 74 at-bats, he has a 13-3 strikeout walk ratio against them. 270 average, 677 OPS. He has decent numbers against them, although Benintendi hits him pretty well. 11 for 29 with a home run. So if you're looking for player props there, Benintendi might be a way to look in that one. Gray is going up against Sean Burke, who has not been doing that well. He's a rookie for the White Sox as well. 4.71 ERA, 1.44 whip, not good. He's been a little bit better at home, though, the 3.68 ERA, so the splits are in Burke's favor, but he had a bad start last time out at Houston, who's not really that great of an offense. Burke actually had a few really good starts in a row leading into that, and then he got whacked for 7 earned runs. Did not do well against Houston, so I would say he's kind of in bad form now, but the Cardinals have never seen him before. So if you want to go with just the splits and the fact that there's the unfamiliarity there with Burke, could potentially go first 5 innings with the White Sox there. I would not want any part of the White Sox bullpen, even though the Cardinals bullpen isn't that good. White Sox bullpen, really, really bad, and got a little bit used up yesterday. So I don't, I still wouldn't really want it. I do think the price is too high on St. Louis, though. You're paying a little bit of a tax for Sonny Gray and to fade Burke, and to fade the White Sox, I should say. St. Louis down from -172 to -166. They have 86% of tickets, 98% of the cash on them, though. But I think what we could read from that is that St. Louis is the public team, though. So all those things to consider in that game. I don't even know if I'd recommend anything in that game, though. I mean, an over might even make sense there with Gray not being good on the road. Both bullpens have the potential to get hit around here. Worry about the White Sox offense not being that good, but the total is up a little bit from 8 to 8.5. So all things to consider. Kansas City is at Texas. Texas got the win yesterday. No, they took a loss. 6-1. I said that earlier in the show. I had an under on this game yesterday, which came through for us. Even though Kansas City scored 3 in the first inning, the runs really fizzled out after that, and there were no runs in the last 3 innings of the game, which helped out a lot. Lugo had a good start, man. Leiter was good enough for us, even though he got lit up early. Leiter got lit early on. Gave up 300 runs, but he settled down nicely into his start after that. So Texas actually only used Booshley, the mighty Booshley, out of the bullpen yesterday. I don't know where old Greg is, though. Or old Greg. So Texas saved basically their entire bullpen yesterday, and their bullpen is good. Kansas City didn't actually use a whole lot of their bullpen either because it wasn't really that close of a game anymore. So we still have two pretty good bullpens here. They're in a decent shape coming into this one. Bubic is pitching for Kansas City. He's having a really excellent season. 1.92 ERA, 1.07 whip. His record's not good because Kansas City's offense can't give him any run support, but he's pitching well, and he's been even better on the road with a 1.48 road ERA. So he's pitching really well. He's coming off a bad start, but it was against the Yankees. So maybe we give him a pass for that because he was rolling along, doing really well, and he had one bad start against a good offense in the Yankees. 4 walks in that game, not great, to only 3 strikeouts. Gave up 5 earned runs and 4 1/3. Not a good start, but that looks like more of a blip to me. I think Bubic will probably do better here against a Rangers lineup that can't hit that well. And they haven't hit him well either in 20 at-bats. Seager does have a home run off him, but other than that, they have only hit 200 off him with a 588 OPS, all including that home run by Seager there. So Bubic has done well against Texas. Actually, did he face Texas this year? Let me see. He might have. No. So he hasn't faced Texas this year either. And then we have Patrick Corbin pitching for Texas, who is surprising basically all of us handicappers here, man, as he's found new life with Texas, which looks like Texas has good pitching coaching on this team, man. Patrick Corbin went from being like almost out of the league to now being a pretty decent starter. 3.66 ERA and 1.22 whip. Still a bit higher than I would like to see with the whip, but he has been good this season for the most part. 3 ERA at home. Pretty good. He's been pretty decent for a while, actually, really for the whole season. He hasn't allowed more than 300 runs in any start all season. He's gone at least 5 innings every time except for 2 of his early outings in April. And since then, he's gone 5 or at least 5 in every outing. His last start, he went exactly 5 and walked 3 guys, which wasn't that great. I could say a bad Minnesota lineup, which isn't that great either, but he got a lot of run support behind him in that one as well. But overall, he is pitching pretty well. At least he's pitching better than I would think, and he's getting by. His numbers against the Royals are actually really bad, though. In 76 at-bats, 12.3 strikeout walk ratio is good, but 342 average, allowed 867 OPS. Witt Jr., 4 for 6 with a home run off him. India, 5 for 13 with a home run off him. Kana really destroys him. 13 for 29 with a double, a home run, and 2 walks. If you want player props, Kana looks like a really good way to go. So Corbin has actually been really bad against Kansas City, so I probably would lean to Kansas City here. They're down from -120 to -118. Odds makers are telling you, man, that they respect Bubic a lot more than Corbin here. 75% of tickets, 89% of the cash. So the cash percentage looks like it's on Kansas City, even though they are public here. The bullpen situation, I would still probably go full game with Kansas City because I don't think the bullpen situation is really that much of a disadvantage for either team, although I think it is a little bit of an advantage to Texas. But then again, Kansas City, you might get the deeper start out of Bubic in this game as well. So, yeah, I mean, close to me leaning towards Kansas City in this game. I still don't trust Corbin, so I'd probably lean to fading Corbin in that one. But Corbin, I mean, there are some things to worry about with Bubic, with the fact that his last start wasn't good. So worry about him going out of form. I don't know. Finally, this late into the show, here's my one play, man. It is a first 5-inning under in Milwaukee and the Chicago Cubs. And, of course, that means we're going under 4 in the first 5 innings, by the way. You can find it at -105 right now, which I think is an okay number to get here. The total in the full game is around 8. Let me see, where's it at? Looking at the total here, it's 8 juice to the under, so maybe there are 7.5s out there too. We have 50% of tickets, 73% of the cash on the under. So it does look like the money has come in a little bit on the under in the full game. Now, of course, you got to pay attention to weather and the wind, especially at Wrigley Field. It is a little bit cool at Wrigley. It's supposed to be in the high 60s, actually, so not really a hot environment. So not really, high heat, which is more conducive to overs. The wind is not blowing in, but it's not blowing out either. It looks like it's blowing side to side, so that's not really as helpful one way or the other. So I think we can go under here now. based on the starting pitching matchup and the fact the weather, I think it's a little bit rainy there as well. Like yesterday's game had the potential of getting rained out, but they still played it. The Cubs got the win 5-3 yesterday. They're on a nice little run here. Cubs playing pretty well again. Cubs used more of their bullpen yesterday than Milwaukee did, though. But the Cubs, of course, have the Cubs have the better of the two bullpens. So it kind of balances out. Cubs, better bullpen, but less rested bullpen coming into this one. So the bullpen situation is a little bit of a wash, but because the Cubs have an unrested bullpen, Milwaukee's bullpen's not that good, and we're looking at an under here. That's why I don't want to go full game under. The bullpens, I think, are a risk. I'm going to focus just on the starting pitching matchup here. What do we got? David, what's up, man? That's all right, man. I do this video at different times during the day, man. So now that I'm unemployed right now, I'm just doing it whenever pretty much. But I have to get my autism out at some point. But yes, thanks for hanging out, man. Now, the starting pitching matchup is really what we're focused on here with this under first 5 innings, and it's Misiorowski pitching again for Milwaukee. I like it, man. I mean, he's a looming presence on the mound. Again, I talked about his scouting reports before he made his first MLB start. He has the profile that you look for, man. He's one of the top prospects in the Brewers organization. He's considered to be one of the better prospects in all of baseball. He throws mid to high 90s on a regular basis, basically, and could definitely top over 100, even like deeper into games sometimes. He throws really hard. He throws from a weird, like kind of high arm angle because he's very tall. So that is a pretty lethal combination, man. And he made one start, and he has a 0 ERA and .8 whip, and he didn't allow any hits. He went 5 innings in his first outing, gave up no hits. And I think he was actually going to go a little bit longer. They let him go 81 pitches, but they actually took him out of the game because he kind of landed weird off the mound and looked like he kind of did something to his ankle. But I guess he's fine because he's pitching again today, but still very impressive. When you have a 5-inning no-hit performance in your first outing, they should have left him in, man. Let him go for a no-hitter in his debut. How many guys could say that they do that? I don't know. But the one issue was he was wild. I mean, kind of expected when you make your first major league start. You might be a little bit nervous. Command might be a little bit wild there. But, I mean, allowing no hits and striking out 5, that's a pretty good sign. Did walk 4 guys, but I think he might settle down a little bit. And his minor league numbers suggest high strikeout rate, a little bit of wildness. Yeah, but I think we're going to deal with it here. Yes, he's stepping up in class, going from facing St. Louis now to facing the Cubs, who are a really, really good offense. But because he's such a hard thrower and he looks like he definitely can compete at the major league level, and he has the edge of being a young, really talented pitcher who hasn't been seen before by any of the hitters on the opposing offense, that is an advantage to the starting pitcher. So let's use it. Let's go with Misiorowski again here. But instead of taking Milwaukee, although I would still probably lean to Milwaukee. We see the Cubs down from -162 to -150. So if you want to grab Milwaukee on the money line in the first 5 innings, I would not really want to go with their bullpen here because it is bad. Even though the Cubs used a lot of their bullpen yesterday, I would probably go first 5-inning money line on Milwaukee if I wanted to go with the side here. We do have 70% of tickets and 97% of the cash on the Cubs. But I think they are public, and the line has moved against them down from -162 to -150. I think Misiorowski, you're going to be able to get some value on him until people figure out who he is, although some guys do know who he is. And his name, I think, is going to be more well-known soon. But for now, I think we'll be able to get, some value on playing some of his games under or on his side. We're going under here because I actually think Jameson Taillon is going to do decent here as well. 3.48 ERA, .98 whip on the season. Pretty good. Been better at home as well with a 2.72 ERA here at home. And he's been better, he's been better during the day, so that worries me a little bit because this is a night game. I was going to say, is this a day game? Because a lot of times you have day games on Wednesday. So, yeah, I mean, we're going against his day-night splits, but at home, he's been good. 2.72 ERA at home. He's in good form right now this month. 3 starts. He's got 6 1/3 innings. Actually, if we go all the way back, 6 starts in a row, he's got at least 6 innings. Or 5 starts in a row, he's got at least 6 1/3, and he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of them. His team, the Cubs, have actually won all 5 of his most recent starts, but he was facing pretty weak offenses. Miami, Colorado, Reds, Detroit, not really that weak on the road, so that's a good sign. And then Pittsburgh. So he is stepping up a little bit in class to face this Milwaukee offense. And Milwaukee did see him, so that is another little bit of an edge to Milwaukee if you like that side. Tyon did just pitch against them at Milwaukee. He did pretty well. Went 6 innings in May, but they did see him. Gave up 2 earned runs, had 5 strikeouts in the game, so it was a decent outing for him. So that does mean that he might do a little bit worse this time out, but hopefully he just gets us through the first 5 innings well enough to get us through it, man. He's been lasting longer than that and not allowing a lot of runs for the most part here, so I like all that. This month, 2.29 ERA in the 3 starts this month. Well below 1 hit allowed per inning, 14 strikeouts, 4 walks. That's all pretty good. Against Milwaukee, decent numbers overall and a big sample size, so they are familiar with him. So the unfamiliarity definitely is in favor of Misiorowski here, but Tyon has had good numbers for the most, decent numbers against Milwaukee, and 133 at bats. Too many walks, 27 to 10 strikeout walk ratio, so a little bit worrisome, but 7 of the 10 are Turang and Yelich, so you can kind of maybe not worry about that as much because he can kind of pitch around a couple of guys. The Yelich is 10 for 33 off him with 2 home runs, 3 walks. That's pretty good. Turang is only 4 for 16 off him, though, even though with the 4 walks. The rest of the numbers aren't that good. And you do have Chorio is 5 for 10 with a home run, so he's done well against him. But overall, he's held him to a 256 average and 714 OPS, which is not that bad. So I'm going to go under in the first 5 innings in that one, although Milwaukee as a first 5 inning side makes sense as well. Yeah, I mentioned that. I talked about the Yankees game already. I didn't mention the number of innings, but I did mention that they haven't scored in 3 entire games straight. So that's 27 innings there, I guess, or whatever it is, and then add the other couple of innings there. That's right. Zach, what's up, man? Royals, I just talked about the Royals. I said that I leaned to the Royals in their game today just because I do like Bubich over Patrick Corbin there. Or potentially first 5 inning Royals would make sense to me as well in that one. Let's finish this off, man. So that was my one play under first 5 innings in that one game. Cubs and Brewers. Cleveland at San Francisco. I played the under. I gave out the under as a play in this series yesterday. This is a completely different pitching matchup, though. What do we have for bullpen usage yesterday? I don't even think I looked. Actually, I probably did. Yeah, Cleveland used a bunch of their best relievers yesterday, so San Francisco is in the better bullpen shape here. San Francisco has a really good bullpen, and they didn't use as much of it yesterday as they got a longer start out of Ray, and then Cleveland did out of Ciccone, but it was good enough to get us the under, and the bullpens helped us out in the game yesterday as well. But the bullpens for Cleveland, at least, the bullpen is not in good shape here coming into this game, so got to worry about Cleveland's bullpen a little bit coming into this one. San Francisco has a bullpen edge here. I mean, they have the best bullpen in the major leagues, and they're a little bit more rested. Logan Allen is pitching for Cleveland, not having a great season here with a 4.28 ERA, which looks mediocre, but a 1.51 whip is really bad. He's putting way too many guys on base. Home road split's very insignificant, actually pretty much the same, both home and road, although he has been a little bit better in his 2 starts this month, going 6 innings in each of them, although against Cincinnati, at Houston, and both at home, so not the greatest offenses. I did have 6 strikeouts in the most recent outing, which is a good sign at least. Only allowing 2 runs in that one. Overall, 8-3 strikeout walk ratio this month, 4.5 ERA. So, I mean, that last start says that he's in somewhat better form right now, so at least there is that. And he actually has good numbers against San Francisco. A lot of San Francisco's hitters have never seen him before. Of course, Devers has, because Devers was in the American League. But Devers, even though I know Devers, I believe he had he had some game-winning RBI last night or something. But San Francisco overall is 2 for 16 off him lifetime. Yeah, Devers has 1 of the hits, but only 1 for 6. So a very small sample size overall. 7 strikeouts, no walks, 125 average, 250 OPS. So Logan Allen, because San Francisco is actually unfamiliar with him, and San Francisco's offense has really been struggling for a while now. I actually think Logan Allen might not actually do that bad in this game. And he's going up against Justin Verlander, who is going to get, all the name recognition. So you might have to pay a little bit too much for Verlander. He's not having the greatest season, though. And, of course, I guess there he is with, that's his wife there, right? Kate Upton or whatever, Justin Verlander. At least he's still got that, man, because he doesn't have that much else going for him now. And he's actually coming off the injured list here to start this game. So we don't know what we're going to get out of Verlander, man. He's 42 years old now. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but he's not having a great season. 4.33 ERA, 1.4 whip is definitely way too high. Home road split's pretty insignificant, though. He's been pretty much the same either way. Last outing that he had, he did not go even 5 innings. He only went 4 innings against the A's and walked 5 guys and only struck out 1. And over the month of May in 4 starts, he only had a 13-9 strikeout walk ratio, which is not a terrific sign, although he didn't allow more than 3 earned runs in any start, going all the way back to in mid-April. So he's actually kind of been at least keeping his team in games for the most part, even though he does not have his stuff anymore, obviously, but he's been like somehow just kind of using his pitching smarts to kind of limit the damage, even though he's putting too many guys on base. His numbers against Cleveland, actually mediocre. It's a huge sample size of 161 at-bats. 30-19 strikeout walk ratio is pretty bad, though. Carlos Santana, the walk god, has 11 walks against him and 9 home runs, but in a huge 86 at-bat sample size, really has 19 hits and 19 strikeouts. So Santana's batting average isn't even good against him, but his OPS is good. So really almost the entirety of the stats here are Santana, which is ridiculous. Santana's literally more than half of the stats that we're looking at here with Verlander against Cleveland, but overall 30-19 strikeout walk ratio, 248 average allowed, 887 OPS, but Santana's numbers are all very similar to that. But if you take Santana out of it, Verlander, pretty good numbers, except Jose Ramirez hits him well. 13 for 41 with 4 home runs, 7 walks, to only 4 strikeouts. So the rest of the guys don't hit him well. So what are we going to get out of Verlander here? I honestly have no idea. It's not a game. It's not one of the San Francisco games where I'd want to look for the under here, but I actually think that Logan Allen, with the unfamiliarity aspect here and the fact that his matchup numbers are actually good against San Francisco, I actually think that there might be some value grabbing Cleveland at an underdog price here and bouncing back off a loss, which I think they are. Yeah, I said they lost 3-2 yesterday. I think, yeah. San Francisco's down from -145 to -130. 86% of tickets, 99% of the cash on them. San Francisco's public. Verlander's going to be public. I think fading him coming off the injured list when he's been old and struggling might make sense. Total's very low at 7.5, which an over might make sense as well. 67% of tickets, 81% of the cash here, because I just don't love either starter. Cleveland's bullpen not rested here. So if you do like the Cleveland side, I would go first 5 innings and just limit it to the starting pitching matchup because I don't want that unrested Cleveland bullpen. So that's the way that I would look at that game. Houston is at the A's in this ridiculous stadium here where the A's got blasted yesterday 13-3 against the Astros there. And I started doing MLB's Beat the Streak, and Altuve, who had really good numbers against JP Sears, had an 0-for-4 performance and did not get a hit for me yesterday. So thanks for that, Altuve. Jason Alexander, George Costanza actually pitched pretty well, despite being in this ridiculous hitting ballpark. The A's just have not played well here at all. So the Astros, not only do they have the better bullpen, but they also saved a lot of their bullpen yesterday. So the Astros bullpen is in very good shape here with the better bullpen and all their better relievers available in this game, whereas the A's had to kind of torch their bullpen yesterday, and their bullpen isn't even good anyway. So there's a pretty major bullpen edge for Houston here. And I think their starting pitching edge is good with Framber Valdez on the mound. 3.1 ERA, 1.09 whip. He's pitching pretty well right now. A little bit worse on the road, 3.89 ERA, and I don't think he's pitched in this stadium yet. So we worry a little bit about that, but Houston has also won, 7 games in a row that he started, where he hasn't allowed more than 300 runs in any of them, and that was only once at Texas. He's been dominant, man. This month, he has almost 2 strikeouts an inning, 23 strikeouts in 12 innings against bad offenses, Pittsburgh and the White Sox, but still, the A's offense isn't really that good, and Valdez is in very good form right now. He allowed 2 earned runs in each of those starts, 4 walks to the 23 strikeouts. Pretty good. Yes, he is having to go to this weird athletic stadium where a lot of guys can struggle in this ballpark. But Framber Valdez is a ground ball pitcher, man. As you can see here, he has more ground balls, 40 more ground balls than fly balls. And he has more strikeouts than fly balls, too. So he actually profiles fairly well for pitching in the stadium. So I might convince myself to actually play Houston in this game. Hold on, because it looks like they have a lot of matchup edges here. even though Valdez's splits don't look that great. But against the A's, he has pretty good numbers of 47 at-bats, 11 strikeouts, 4 walks, 213 average, 700 OPS. So pretty good numbers overall for Valdez. None of these hitters really do that well against him. So Valdez does look pretty good here. He's up against Severino, who is not having a good season, 4.47 ERA, 1.3 whip, and he has the most extreme splits in all of baseball. He has a 7.1 ERA in this stadium. All 6 home runs he's allowed are in this stadium. He actually hadn't allowed a home run since April, and in his last outing, I think he allowed 2 more here. He's been awful at home. He has a .93 ERA and 194 opponent batting average on the road, and in this stadium, 7.1 ERA and 291 batting average. You will never see more extreme splits than this. He's coming off an outing that was good, which of course it was on the road. He allowed 1 earned run against Kansas City, went 7 2/3, but he only had 1 strikeout in the game and 2 walks. So that doesn't really tell me he's in good form. And in his previous 2 home starts, he was awful, going 5 2/3, allowing 13 earned runs over that span and having 6 walks to 6 strikeouts. His strikeout walk ratio this month is 7-7. I mean, he's awful. Before that, Kansas City, that start against Kansas City there where, he got the win. Kansas City's offense is terrible, though. Houston's offense is not really that good either, but before that start, his team had lost 6 starts in a row for him. And I gave out a play, actually, on Baltimore in his start 2 starts ago, and got that one right with Baltimore, really getting to Severino a little bit later in the game and a little bit to the A's bullpen. But the A's have not been good behind Severino. Yeah, he pitched well against Houston last time out, but it was at Houston, and that means Houston is also recently familiar with him because they saw him in late May, so that also gives the Astros a little bit of an edge here, whereas Valdez, has he been seen by the A's this year? Let me see. I don't believe so. So Valdez has an extra edge because the A's haven't even seen him, whereas Houston recently saw Severino. Severino's numbers against Houston are good, though. In 99 at-bats, a nice 22-5 strikeout walk ratio, 253 average, allowed 672 OPS, so his numbers are good, which is what gives me a little bit of pause as far as playing Houston, but everything else lines up on Houston here, man. The splits, the bullpen situation, starting pitching, I think is in favor of Houston. I think Houston's offense is, even though they're not good, they're not that much worse than the A's bullpen, than the A's hitting, in my opinion. A's have been terrible in this ballpark. It's very tempting, man. We do have Houston up for -150 and -155, 73% of tickets, 86% of the cash coming in on Houston. What type of number are we looking at here, man? Because I think Severino is just such a fade at home. Let me see. What are we looking at? I'm looking at Action Network real quick here. Brought it up in a different browser, though. I apologize just because I don't love showing, some numbers that I actually pay for. They actually have more of the cash coming in on Houston as well, even though Houston is public. They have them, having to lay 160 with them right now. If we look at the money line, the run line, you can lay the run line -1.5 at +100. So you could do that basically as a spread bet there on Houston. Should we? It is quite a price to be laying on Houston, though. I wouldn't mind the money line either at -160. But they're on the road, so they get all 9 at-bats, and I think they do have a big edge here. So do we play Houston on the run line here? Even though yesterday Houston did win 13-3, so that's kind of like, you tend to want to fade results like that, but the A's are just so bad at home, especially Severino. It's very tempting, man. Very, very tempting to play Houston here. Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. We'll add Houston on the money line here. -1.5 at +100. Hopefully it works out. A lot of these late plays that I add don't work out, but we'll add Houston run line, on the -1.5 runs. So they have to win by 1.5 runs, but fuck it. Let's do it. And then we got, let's see. Last game is San Diego and Dodgers. A good matchup between San Diego and the Dodgers, but I don't know if this pitching matchup is really what we want to see with the Dodgers offense. The Dodgers, starting rotation having like a million injuries. Man, this is going to be a long video again here, but this is the last game. Dodgers have won both games in the series so far. They've won 4 games in a row. So yeah, in a way, San Diego's definitely gonna want to bounce back from this. The Dodgers went with a bullpen game yesterday. So Dodgers bullpen is in terrible shape right now, man. I mean, they had Ohtani started the previous game and only pitched 1 inning. Dodgers used a bunch of their relief staff yesterday, although the Padres used a lot of their relievers too. But the Dodgers have really used their bullpen over the last 2 games, man. So I think San Diego does have a little bit of a bullpen edge because they do have the somewhat better bullpen, and because they rested a little bit the day before yesterday, San Diego's bullpen is in better shape after the Dodgers torched their bullpen 2 games in a row. Kolek is pitching for the Padres, and I'm not really a fan of Kolek. He has a 3.5 ERA, which looks good, but a 1.3 whip is not very good, 1.32. He's putting too many guys on base. Has been a lot better on the road, which is strange because he pitches in a pitcher-friendly park in San Diego, but a 1.75 road ERA. Actually pretty good. Dodgers haven't seen him this year, so he does have that edge going for him at least, or at least the opposing offense is unfamiliar with him, but his last couple of starts have not been good. He's had 3 straight road starts, and even though his road ERA is good, I wouldn't say these starts are that good. He didn't go more than 5 2/3 in any of them, even though he didn't allow any runs against Milwaukee and San Francisco. San Francisco is not a good hitting team. Milwaukee, Kolek kind of got lucky in that game as he walked 4 guys. He's walked at least 2 in the last 3 outings. Got kind of wrecked by Arizona, who is a good offense on the road. Has only a 10-8 strikeout walk ratio across those 3 starts. That's not a good sign. His strikeout walk ratio has been bad for a while, so he's kind of escaping spots where he's putting too many guys on base. Though the Dodgers have not seen a whole lot of him. They're 0 for 4 off him, although with 3 walks, but a 0 average and a 429 OPS. So Kolek has pitched well against them in limited playing time, probably all in relief, but I don't think he's in good form right now at all. I don't think he's trustworthy. He's going up against Emmett Sheehan. I already had Sheehan's numbers up here, who last pitched in 2023 in the major. So you got to figure out what are we going to get out of Sheehan here. His only season was basically a half season pitching for the Dodgers. He made 11 starts, 13 appearances in 2023. His ERA wasn't that good, 4.92, but his whip was actually fairly good, 1.19. He had 64 strikeouts in 16 1/3 innings, so that's actually pretty good. 26 walks was a little bit high. Only allowed 46 hits, though, so his numbers are actually pretty good in that he had a high strikeout rate. He didn't allow a lot of hits. His walk rate was a little bit too high. He was a little bit wild, but he has a decent profile, it looks like, man, where he has proven that he can strike guys out at a major league level. Even though he's a little bit wild, he's very hard to hit. So I actually kind of like what Sheehan's profile looks like here, man. He's having to come back from injury, though. So that's the thing that we're looking at here with Sheehan. I don't know what his... it doesn't say. Usually when they're on the IL like this, it usually says up here like what their injury was, but it looks like because he missed an entire season, he must have had arm surgery or something. So you got to see how is Sheehan going to bounce back from his arm surgery. So you have to look at his stats in the minor leagues. He's been pitching at AAA this year, and he's actually been pretty good in AAA. His ERA is in the 2s. He has a whip of like 0.8 or something. His whip is below 1 in AAA, so that's actually a good sign. Unlike what I said with Trevor Rogers, Sheehan is a little bit of a younger guy, and his major league stats are a lot better than Trevor Rogers are, and even though it's a bit of a smaller sample size, and Sheehan has been pitching a lot better in AAA, so I like Sheehan better here, man. And I think you're looking at a situation where probably the Padres have essentially never faced this guy before. They're 1 for 6 off him. Diaz had 1 hit against him with 3 RBIs, but they also have 4 strikeouts off him, 167 average, 310 OPS, and the rest of San Diego's hitters have not seen him before, so that's a good sign as well for Sheehan. So I actually like Sheehan over Kolek here, but because the Dodgers bullpen is absolutely trashed after the last 2 games, I would go first 5 innings on the Dodgers in this game. That's the way I would lean in this one. And the public is coming in all over San Diego here, man, for some reason. Public is almost always on the Dodgers, but you can actually find a situation now where the Dodgers are actually an anti-public home favorite. When does that ever happen? San Diego, 78% of tickets, only 69% of the cash. So it looks like some more of the actual money coming in on the Dodgers, up from -190, -195. And again, you'd be jumping on their win streak, which sometimes is a good thing to do. But again, how often do you get one of the best teams in a major sport like this as a home favorite and the public doesn't want them? Very, very rare. So the Dodgers look like the right side here. I would go first 5 innings on this one. I mean, you're having to roll the dice a little bit with Sheehan, but he's been good in AAA. I think he's a good starter, so that's the way I would go. I think Kolek is actually a lot worse than he looks. That's the way I would go. We have 67% of tickets, 99% of the cash coming in on the over as well. So the over looks like it got some of the cash. The total dropped a little bit from 9.5 to 9.5, just the under. Oddsmakers expecting a higher scoring game. I wouldn't really disagree with that, just based on, I think when it gets to these unrested bullpens here, I think you could see some runs scored later in the game, which is why I would only want to go first 5 innings here. I think I'm not going to recommend a play on this one, but I think it's close. Just because of the way the market looks, it's very tempting. When you get a good team like the Dodgers getting anti-public sentiment, sometimes you want to look that way, although Action Network makes it look like San Diego's the anti-public team, but I really don't think so. So I would go first 5 innings here. You actually get a cheaper price on the Dodgers in the first 5, which I think is pretty stupid as well. You can get the Dodgers at you could pay them -130 to get them at -half a run, or you could lay -1 on the run line at -102. I see that out there. I think at DraftKings you can get it at that. So you could lay a -1 in the first 5 innings, and that way, yeah, the Dodgers have to be leading, and if they're only leading by 1, you'll push the bet, but it's kind of a way to limit your risk a little bit, or at least you won't lose the bet, and you still have a chance to win it, but they have to be winning by more than a run through the first 5 innings, which is a little bit of a difficult ask, where if you pay the -130, they just have to be winning by that 1 run, because you can get the -half run line in that one. Talking first 5 innings here. If you play the money line, of course, if it's tied, your bet will push, but you don't have to pay about -170 for it, which is still better than paying -190 or whatever for it. So those are the ways that I'd probably look in that one. I don't love the numbers that you can get on that one, so I think it's a little bit too much of a price to pay on it, so I'm not going to do it, but that's the way I would lean in that one. I think still they're actually charging a little bit too much to play the Dodgers in that one. What's up, David? Late night streams. I do them when there are other sports that make sense, like the one-off streams. Like if I'll do a stream with Clint sometimes on Bald, which maybe I'll have him come back to talk about. Maybe I'll have him come back to talk about NFL. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a weekly NFL show. I don't know, but so my shows are all over the place, man. So I do these morning shows. I do late night shows during football season. I actually do. Because football is a very weekly sport, so I'll do a daily show where I'll talk about the midweek football games that are the daily football games, but I'll talk about the college football Saturday slate. I do a Friday night stream for that typically, and for the NFL Sunday slate, I do a Saturday night stream for those, so I typically do night streams for those, and I'm going to do a night stream tonight because I'm flying to Bro Grove tomorrow morning, so I don't think I have time to do a morning stream. It's probably going to be a short board tomorrow. I always say card, but board tomorrow for Thursday. Usually there's not as much baseball on Thursday, so I'll probably talk about I'll do it tonight probably, though, so I probably will do a show tonight for the for tomorrow's card. But the other late night streams that I do are usually I did the bracket specials, so I am starting to do more of those where I show the playoff bracket breakdown and whatever. I'll probably do one for the baseball playoffs once they start, but I don't anticipate a lot of late night streams when it's we're entering the summer vacation period, man, where it's just Major League Baseball pretty much. And of course I am looking at WNBA now, but yeah, as far as that, yeah, probably not too many late night streams just during the summer days where it's just baseball. I'll probably just be doing breaking down the card in the morning. I like looking at the market in the morning more, though. It's harder to look at the market during the night because you don't really know what the market is going to look like yet at night. But the way that I handicap, I do a lot of situational stuff and whatever, so you can still handicap the games in a similar way. You just don't get a good market read. So I'm going to be at that disadvantage tonight as well. Nate, what's up, man? Yes, hi to everybody, although I'm about to get out of here. Florida, yeah, saving us from Canada. By the way, I looked it up. I forget who it was who mentioned, I think it was Anthony, was in the comments yesterday. He said that he said that Edmonton in 93, or 91, was the last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup. That's actually not accurate. The last Canadian team we were both wrong. The last Canadian team to win the Cup was actually Montreal in 1993, which, boo. I mean, that's probably my most disliked Canadian team. Probably either Montreal or Vancouver. I just don't love the fan bases, don't like how they play, but Montreal's been so bad for so long, I can't really hate them that much anymore, but they're a big rival with the Bruins, even though my grandfather was from Montreal, and he was actually a fan of both teams. The Montreal Bruins, that's a big rivalry, especially back when they were both good, because they're both original six teams. So there is actually a big rivalry there between those two teams. Montreal actually probably the most hated of the teams for Bruins fans. So interesting that my grandfather actually was a fan of both teams. Daily, weekly NFL, yeah, I check it out, man, because that is what I did. You can look at I have playlists for those actually from. I've been doing this since the middle of 2023, I think, but you can go check it out. I forget what I did exactly during that football season, but you can look. I have playlists up for my football shows that I did last year. The weekly ones, those are in playlists last year, so you can see how I did it in last year for both college and pro. You can see how I did that. They were all late night streams. Some of them were fairly long. Law of averages that I made about the under 6.5. Why? What happened? I didn't see it. Oh, the Kansas City Royals game that went 7. Well, that total was 8.5 though. Like I gave out the full game under. Both of my unders won yesterday. The Kansas City game was that was an under 8.5, so that was a winner. Yeah, I don't know what I said about the law of averages though. Oh, the hockey game. Yeah, you're right. It went under. You're right. Every game went over until last night, and the game ended 5-1. Florida got one empty netter, and dude, Edmonton went empty net with 5 minutes left in the game. So if you had an under, you were sweating that, because they definitely could have scored 2 empty net goals. Once they scored the first empty net goal, it was like over, and then Edmonton actually put their goalie back in net. So I don't think they went empty net again after that. Although they did actually score 1 goal at some point. I think they scored right after the empty net. I think Edmonton actually scored the 1 goal that they scored, actually. But yeah, so I just sweated a little bit, but yeah, it finally went under. Which Florida's games, I think, had more of a tendency to be lower scoring because they actually played defense. Even though all the games went over except for that one. Thank you, sir. Thanks, David. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, anyway, I'm Learn to Toad on Twitter. You can tell everybody about Better Off Dead. Let's get more people watching it, man, because hopefully my analysis is good, even though my bets have been very subpar with a losing year last year. And this year, we're going to try to get a winning year this year. This year has been a winning year, except March was unbelievably bad. Like, March was like minus 8,000, which is probably the worst month I've ever seen. I couldn't believe how bad it was. College basketball absolutely wrecked me this year. And college basketball, the previous couple of years was pretty good to me, so crazy. College football was a bit of a problem for me the last couple of years until this most recent year. I had a really good college football year, especially from the mid to late part of the season. I was wrecking college football. I had a streak where I think, if you guys remember, I don't know, I had a streak some of the late weeks that I did, like the Saturday college football. I was annihilating college football. I think I went on like a 13-1 college football run at one point, only doing college football sides as well, just playing against the spread. I was housing college football. So you can go back and find the videos where I was talking about those. That was a fun time, man. So yeah, hopefully we'll be back to it, man. But yeah, every other month besides March this year has been pretty good for me, although baseball has been fairly mediocre, but hopefully it'll pick up. That's going to do it. But yeah, tell everybody about Better Off Dead. Patreon.com/Tower Gang is still out there if you want to get the extra Tower Gang content. I don't know if the show is ever going to come back, but it is out there. Bohemian Grove is happening. I'm flying out tomorrow, so I will be there for both days. I may be involved I'm probably going to be on the stage for something on Friday, which is the comedy portion of the festival. But I will be hanging out. I'll be around both nights. So if you guys are coming to that, you can meet me there. It'll be a fun time either way. I get to hang out with a bunch of us there. Cole will be there as well, and Top Lobsa and Raven, of course. Some of those guys. Dude, I miss Clint. And Jose, though. I mean, I want to get the gang back together, but unfortunately, it may not happen. Jose never actually really came to these events, though. I don't know, man. It was always, I don't know. We make fun of him because it was always like, my wife is in the hospital, whatever. And Jose is within driving distance. It's like, I don't know, man. Come on, just show up. He did come to a couple of them, though, actually. He's been at Top Lobster's house hanging out with us. So he did at least do that. He came to at least one of the things that we had in the area. But Clint would always be at them. So very unfortunate, man. It's an unfortunate situation all around. Yeah, peace out to you guys as well. Again, my plays one more time. By the way, my Give Send Go is still out there. Slash Tower Gang Toad. Probably, I'll take it down maybe after Bohemian Grove. I'll take it down. But thanks for the support, guys, for anybody who supported that or even shared it or whatever. I appreciate it. My plays one more time. The one that was going to be my only play again, first 5 innings under the total of 4 in the Brewers-Cubs game. I like the starting pitching. I really like what we're getting out of Misiorowski, man. I think he's going to be, he's going to be one of the next like really good things in baseball, I think. And then I did give out a last-minute play on the Houston Astros run line. Hopefully it just gets there. We'll see. A ukulele concert. I don't think that's going to happen, although I might play one song or something. I don't know. We'll see. There will be a ukulele there, so even if there's not a concert, like there might be some downtime. Maybe I'll just jam, and you guys can hang out and watch me do it or something. I don't know. I was gonna have if I went to Pork Fest, I was gonna have a ukulele concert. I did a ukulele show last year at Pork Fest. I bring my ukulele to Pork Fest. I bring 2 of them usually, actually, because I drive to Pork Fest, so I can bring like all my stuff with me. So last year I had an official concert, and I was going to be on the schedule, I think, at both the emo tent and the LPNH tent this year. I think they're both. So I was going to have 2 concerts. So unfortunately, I'm missing that. The song live, yeah. I mean, dude, Pork Fest, nobody's going to stop anything from happening like that at Pork Fest. I would play it at Pork Fest, at Bro Grove. People want me to play it, so I'll probably play it, but the only problem is I might not remember how it goes. So that's the one issue there. So I might have to pull up the lyrics or something just to make sure that I remember it. Oh, thank you. I didn't even think it was a good cover of it, man, but everybody's saying it was good and that it was better than the original. So thanks to everybody for the kind words, man. But let's get a couple of wins today with those baseball plays. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for chatting. I would stay and chat, but I got stuff to do here. Got to prepare for flying out tomorrow as well. Got to eat lunch as well. I'm hungry. So let's, yeah, man, let's have a good day today, everybody. And I think that's it. I think I plugged everything, right? Even though it was kind of all over the place. Get your Nadeau razors as well. They're not sponsoring me, but Nadeau, Shave Co. They still sponsor Jose's show, I think. So go buy some Nadeau. They make a good product, man. I did not shave my head with it, though. I'm worried about straight razoring my head, man. So I do use electric options for that to get the job done and get it done more quickly. Peace, everybody. Have a good day.